Hey, it's your girl Nikki Chanel, and I'm here with the story time. All right, let's watch it and see what we get out of this.
To comment was being weird with me, right? Soon as my dad stopped giving her money, our house started getting raided. We were raided so much that the feds would make comments about how much I had grown since the last time they raided our house. We was getting raided like crazy because my father was a serial pewist who ran a lucrative operation in Philly in the early 90s. And both sides of my family are Jamaican, so you already know the vibes. Anyway, my dad has some intel in the police department, so he would know like when they was on his ass, right? So I got information one time that the feds met up with some people, and one of them people was my mom, and they left that meeting with information. The other person that meeting was my grandmother. Okay, and she would do dumb shit like tell my mom meet her for lunch just because she knew my mom, they were estranged or whatever. My mom really wanted a relationship with her mother, right? So she would just like bait her like that. And then my mom would show up for lunch and it'd be like all these FBI agents are trying to question my mom. And every single time she's like, I'm not cooperating because I got a child with this motherfucker. And I know he ain't shit to me, but that's still her dad. And I'm with shit. What pissed me off the most is that nobody gave a shit about her safety. All people cared about was getting him locked up. And all my grandmother cared about was getting some type of
Okay. So I need to take a break for her because she is talking and she has not taken a breath yet. But family. That's all I can say.
revenge over money that was never hers. And the lack of care for my mother and my own safety was very evident the night when everything went left. When we're trying to get into the house and some coked out Jamaican runs across the freaking alleyway and pushes us in the house. So I left off where a coked out Jamaican runs across the alleyway and pushes us into the house. And I swear, y'all, the way this played out, you could absolutely tell that it was a red run for hire that's supposed to be staged as a robbery. But this cokehead messed it up. Anyway, he puts us in the house and locked the door behind him. Completely freaked out and ran all the way upstairs to my room and hid under my bed. So I hid under the bed. I'm thinking I'm safe. Then I remember my mom is in the basement with Psycho. I start crying. Then I hear footsteps coming. I'm thinking it's my mom. I hear my door rattling and shit. Then boom, my door gets kicked open. It's him. Tells me to come out into the hallway and sit with my mom or whatever, right? So then he goes in her room. He starts flipping her whole room upside down. I'm talking this dude ramsacked the whole shit. He threw all her sneakers out the closet, all her shoes, messed the whole closet up. Was going through her drawers, talking about where's money, really trying to make it look like a robbery. Since we got raided the first time, my dad stopped keeping money in the house, and my mom kept telling this fool who kept asking for money that she don't have none, and even offered to take him to the Mac machine because that's what it was called at the time. It wasn't an ATM; we called it a Mac in the 90s. Yeah, hold on. And he comes back in the hallway, starts talking shit, turns around to switch out his mask, and I saw his face a little bit. Y'all, tell me why it's my cousin. I left off at the part where he was switching out his mask, and I saw his face a little bit. It was my father's nephew. So once I realized it was him, I wasn't as scared anymore. And I even went as far as picking up my lunchbox, slapping him back of the head with it. And he turned around like he was going to do something, but he stopped. And my mom was scared AF. Y'all should have seen the look on her face. Anyway, after he was done looking for money that we don't have, he pulled some shoelaces out my mom's shoes and tied me up and left me at the top of the stairs and took my mom all the way back down to the basement. Like 2 minutes later, they come back upstairs, right? And he making it sound like he about to leave, we about to be able to clean up and act like none of this ever happened. My mom said she wasn't calling the cops, none of that shit, right? He goes downstairs with my mom again, saying how she was just gonna let him out the house or whatever. And my mom's like, I'll be right back, whatever. So I'm noticing like as they going down, he turned the TV on in the living room and turned the volume all the way up. And not even 2 minutes later, I heard three loud explosions. So I ended up falling asleep very briefly. I wake up, I call my grandmother, she puts me on three-way with the police. The police send out somebody. Guess which cop is answering the call that night? Another cousin. Right, so I left off at the part where one of the responding officers was another one of my cousins. This cousin had nothing to do with anything, but he was the one who discovered her body and found that he was related to her. So he couldn't be there anymore. So he took me with him and his partner, and we went down to the police station. We gonna jump ahead 6, 7 years later from that night. It is now 2001, 2002, and I'm living in Jamaica. My father's a full blown fugitive. He's America's Most Wanted. The situation ended up on Unsolved Mysteries when it used to be on Lifetime. By this time, the feds are getting sick and tired of chasing this man all over the globe because they already hit up the Jamaican feds and was like, yo, this man right here, he is wanted AF. If y'all see him, detain him. hand him over to us so he could come over here and answer for all the shit he's done. Cause y'all, it wasn't just my mom. My father is a serial pew-pewist, right? He got mad bodies on him and he had a Rico. He's slick, so he like 10 steps ahead of them. He done already paid off the Jamaican whoever was supposed to tell on him to not say nothing. And it worked. But unfortunately for him, the Colombians knew where to find him. Oh yeah, I left out the second reason why my dad wanted my mom out the picture was because he owed the Colombians some money and he had two insurance policies on my mom. One of his shipments that he was sending over to Cali for them got took about a month before my mom was unalived. That ship in the early 90s, that at that time that had cost him a little bit over 100 grand. That's a lot of money today. That's damn near $1 million right now. They wanted his head and went right to Jamaica to get it. Come back for part 5. So the Colombians finally catch up with my father, and I don't know what he said to them, but they did unalive him, and then they never saw him again after that. I know they regret that shit, because after they decided to not unalive him so he could actually pay them back, he skipped the country and went straight to Europe. Him and his best friend. Now they hiding out in England, and the best friend's getting tired. He got so tired he called the police on them. He's like, look, man, I'm sick and tired of running. I'm such and such. I'm with such and such. Come get us and let the U.S. government know I will cooperate as long as I got to too much time in a prison and they just deport me to Jamaica. U.S. government's like, okay. When I say this man started singing like a canary, one of the first things we all found out he started yapping was that my father unalived his nephew after everything went left because I wasn't supposed to be able to make him. If anyone's wondering, his body was all along Maxfield Avenue in barrels. This was in like 1995, 96. Anyway, that's from yapping. I find out that the night my mother was unalive, that was the third attempt on her life because best friend helped my dad find two people to do this, and both people took the money and dipped because they say they don't do that to women. The next thing we found out was what happened to the shorty who got the shipment for the Colombians took by the feds. Bruh, when I say my father did her so dirty, her family didn't even get to tell her goodbye. But when they got to what really went down with my mom, I was floored. So I left off at the part where my father's best friend snitched them out and got a deal with the feds. They were going to deport him to Jamaica as long as he told them everything they wanted to know, and that he did do. So my mom's situation is wild because since the best friends started chatting, I started figuring shit out. I found out that the reason my mom's side of the family was so rotten towards everybody after everything went down is because they was all in bed with my dad. Despite knowing that he was beating the fuck out of my mother as he got. He even essayed her. He pew-pewed whipped her too in the same incident. Essayed her, pew-pew whipped her. They all knew about it and nobody gave a fuck. They was still moving weight for this dude. Nobody laid hands on him, nothing. Nobody did shit. All they did do was keep moving weight for this. My mom's older sister doing favors for him, such as escorting me to Jamaica. I'm only like 5, 6 years old. My dad cut out the lining of my face, put $100,000 in it, sends me to Jamaica with her. He got all his shit set up at Montego Bay Airport to where I ain't got to go through customs because his brother is a police officer and paying them off, right? So she flew me to Jamaica, handed me over to my uncle. I walk out the airport, this bitch go back around the other side to hop on the next back to Philly. But if you ask her about that incident today, she's gonna tell you that it never happened, or she didn't know that there was $100,000 in my suitcase. Oh, I just realized, every time my dad would send me to Jamaica, every time I got down there, my uncle would drop me off at his mother, my dad's mom's house, that grandmother. I miss her. R.I.P. Grandma Inez. But anyway, they would drop me to the house and then take my luggage somewhere else and come back like 3 hours later with all my shit. She got snitched out. That aunt got snitched out by my grandma. My grandmother lied though. She told the feds that my aunt was a drug mule for my dad. She wasn't. She just did little favors and shit. But she took it too far because on a trip back from Jamaica after my mom had died, my aunt got pulled by customs. They strip searched her, cut the bottoms out of her shoes, ripped her shit up because my grandmother told the feds while my aunt was in Jamaica that that's what she goes to Jamaica to do. And it wasn't true. So yeah, the whole family was in bed with my dad. They was all moving weight for him. Everyone got snitched out except for my grandmother's son. And people got pissed off about that to the point where they jumped this, beat him so bad, one of his eyes almost popped out of his socket. I'm shocked this motherfucker can see 2020 today. But y'all, this ain't it. I've seen a lot of shit throughout my childhood, and it all started the moment I got on this earth because of my father. I'm not going to tell these stories on here anymore. Instead, I'm going to produce an art form and put them on YouTube. If anybody wants to watch, go subscribe to Broad Street Karma right now. I'm letting out the first episode within a week. I seen a lot of shit, y'all, and anybody who ever did me wrong, you gonna die on that fucking show.
Ooh, well, she said a lot. So I'm one of those guys that don't like to do a lot of talking. I like to watch the videos, but I hate when people stop the videos so that they can do a lot of talking. Here's my take on it. Family can be your worst enemies. That line can hit hard for some, but it's real. Um, the truth is, not every enemy is a stranger. Family should be your safe place. Sometimes it's where the pain starts. When family becomes your enemy, healing hits differently. Family can hurt you the most. Okay, let me know what you think about this video. Comment, like, share, subscribe, and put your opinions below.